Welcome to the first recorded episode of Lost in Translation. The episode we're going to review today is D.O.C. or Date of Conception, which is an episode about Sun and Jin, primarily Sun, and her desire to find out who impregnated her and perhaps if she's going to die or not. The episode flashback was fantastic, I thought, anyway. It gave me a lot of insight into the actual destruction of their marriage because basically, up to this point, I was blaming Jin for everything when Sun, who did do a nice act of trying to spare her husband the shame of, him lying to her, basically, allowed herself to be blackmailed, but in the course of it, made her marriage go downhill because her father was now going to employ his new son-in-law to do his work, and we all know his work is not good at all. And this actually is the start of the end of their marriage, because her trying to save her marriage actually destroys it almost in the end until they get into the plane crash and she almost runs away and so forth. While this is all going on, we have to deal with the fact that Naomi, the girl from the helicopter that came over the ocean, fell from the sky and actually was pretty much hurt. Now, she speaks 5 languages. For some reasons, people are speculating they have, maybe she was trying to figure out what she would come up against if she found Desmond. Maybe he would be with other people. Maybe she needed to know all the languages. Maybe she's just super smart. Who knows? She was hurt, she punctured her lung, and then Hurley, amusingly enough, fired off the flare gun in the air. Now, lo and behold, our friend Mikhail came back. Mikhail's supposed to be dead. He's supposed to be gone. His head was supposed to be crushed on the inside due to the sonic barrier. However, he's not dead. Many people on the internet are speculating that the island now brings people back from the dead. If that's so, then everyone they've already buried is now still under the ground, trying to claw their ways out, dying, and then coming back and doing it again. It's kind of like rinse repeat, but this time it's like ingesting sand. If they brought Shannon back, I'd be happy. If they brought Boone back for just his body, I'd be happy too. Anyway, moving on. Then we had to figure out who Mikhail was trying to think he was going to stumble upon when he came to the flare. Was he thinking it was others? Did Ben instruct him to go look at the flare, go to the flare, go to the flare, because there could be new wreckage? I think he had an idea of what he was looking for, but I think it shocked him when he stumbled upon the Losties looking over this girl. He kind of looked shocked and went, oh, darn it. And then they figured out who he was and he smirked a little bit. Then he tries to steal the cell phone. The satellite phone, sorry. The satellite phone. Makes me wonder if he's trying to prevent them from calling out, or if he's trying to call somebody. Because they need to figure, because they don't have a way off the island, and since Locke made the submarine go boom. Funny thing is at the end of their little storyline during the episode, Naomi tells Hurley that there's no way that the crew and the passengers of Flight A15 lived, because they found them. If they didn't, the outside world did find them, who did they find? Because, the producers had promised us this is not a Purgatory Island story that everyone thought it was during the first season. They told us it's not that it all can be scientifically explained. I'm waiting for the smoke monster. Anyway, who did they find? Was it bodies that the others had kept up and just, orchestrated this little event to look like it happened? Did they construct another Flight 815 exactly like it was and then crash it in the middle of the ocean with people on board, maybe bodies of people they knew? I don't know. It looks like they did something. Now, that also makes me wonder, it goes to Michael and Walt. Since at the end of the second season, Michael and Walt were allowed to go off on the boat. Where did they go, and why did the others let them go if they have orchestrated this little event to make people from the outside think that people were dead? Now, Ben gave Michael the compass heading he should go to, saying he'd find help that way. But he never said he'd get off he said he'd get off this island. But he never said that you would actually find your home again. He just said you'd get off the island and you'd find help that way. And not telling us that the others are that way. Maybe it led them to another island. Maybe it led into the island that Sawyer, Jack, and Kate were on. I don't know. I just think that, I don't think the others are stupid enough to let Michael and Walt go, and without thinking Walt would go, oh, by the way, we were on this island where the other passengers of Flight 815 people ago, but we found them dead. It is also noteworthy to say that it's now among speculation that the phrase that Naomi said, and Mikhail erroneously, on purpose, by the way, translated was actually "I'm not alone" in Portuguese, not in Italian. because the book, of course, Catch-22 is also in Portuguese. So if she's not alone, this could be what the others are after. Now, the other question is, did she actually bring Penny with her? Maybe the book that she was holding was just not a picture of something that Penny gave to Naomi. Maybe Penny's now on the island, and the others are now after her. Now, that's just speculation, because it has been confirmed, that's what she said, but I think it's pretty noteworthy to say that that could have been a possible translation of what she said, actually. While all this crazy stuff is going on, you have Sun and Juliet running around trying to find her D.O.C. finally, so she can figure out if she's going to die or not. Juliet kidnaps or asks forcefully Sun to please come with her in the middle of the night to go to the staff station that Claire was taken to when she was kidnapped by Ethan. She goes there and says to her that I can figure out the date of your conception and you can figure out if you were pregnant off the island, which means that Jin is not the father of her baby, or on the island, you're going to die, but basically your husband will never know that you slept with another man. She goes to the station and she's taken to another room, not the room that Claire was taken into. She's taken to a secret room behind the lockers that Juliet says this is where they took the women to die. Now, I found it very odd that they actually took the time to clear everything out of the station, but they left the stuff that they left the nursery items behind this wall. I think they are planning to come back someday, and this could be part of the plan that Juliet mentioned in the end. Sun figured out that Jin was the father, and she's probably going to die, and Juliet promised to keep her alive as long as possible. I do think here that Juliet was very sincere, and I don't think she's evil. The producers have asked us not to make a decision if she's good or bad, but I've made a decision she's halfway in between. I think she is part of the others, but she's also trying to do her work still, and I think she genuinely cares about what's going to happen to these people. I think also that Sun's probably not going to die, and that many more people, if not just one, Miss Kate Austen, is also pregnant on this island. This would also help me figure out what was wrong with Kate at the beginning of Season 3. Remember that little weird exchange she had with Ben at the table and everyone speculated that people thought she was sexually abused? She might have been, and she might be pregnant. But is it Ben's? Could it be Sawyer's? Or would it be funny if it was Jack's even though they never had sex? I think it'd be amusing. Quite amusing, actually. Problem is that I don't think Sun would have trusted Juliet enough to leave her alone when Juliet said, I have to go back and, you know, make sure we covered our tracks. You didn't do that before we left? I would have followed her. I'm sorry. She's another. I love her. She's still another. Now, Juliet, of course, went back and left this tape-recorded message, because, of course, Ben is coming back, and says, you know, I will get samples from the other women, including Miss Austen, which makes me, again, believe that there's something going on with her. And then she says, with the tape off, I hate you, and walks away. She hates him. She's always hated him. We've always known she's hated him. This season is turning out to be one of the best seasons. I enjoyed Season 2, not as much as I enjoyed Season 1, of course. 1 was the best. But I think this season is very good, and I'm tired of people complaining about it, because I think these people have given us enough answers. I think it will last for another 1 to 2 seasons, and then I think the show is going to be off the air. They will probably do a 4th full season, and they're probably going to do like a 5th season, kind of like J.J. Abrams did with Alias, which was 16 episodes. A very short last season, just to wrap things up. And I think this is going to do well. Now, next week is The Break, which is supposed to be a very good episode, which is supposed to change everything we've ever believed in Lost. And we're probably going to find out more about this box that Ben mentioned to lock, that you can pull anything out of that you want. What is it? I don't know. What will Sawyer find out, and what Sawyer figures in this? I think Sawyer's probably the first victim of Locke's father. But more on that next week.